All right, what is going on, guys? Just mind my appearance. It's like 8:30 in the morning, and I woke up like 20 minutes ago. So I just woke up. I had a little bit of time to make a video, so I figured I'd make this one kind of quick here. Um, I wanted to talk about how having a stick shift, driving a manual car, really helped me getting out of an accident. Um, Now, as you know, the only manual car that I own is my Jeep. Well, actually, I have Jeeps. I have two. Um, is my Jeep. Well, I was off-roading for a couple hours, no problem, whatever. I start driving down the road, and my brakes are acting kind of weird. They're feeling kind of spongy. They just don't feel right. So I pull over to the side of the road. I look at my reservoir, has plenty of fluid in it. I check. I'm checking underneath. I'm looking at like the brake lines that run along like the unibody frame, the uniframe. I wouldn't see anything leaking. Nothing was wet. I'm like, okay, like that's kind of weird. I didn't do a full inspection of the vehicle. I guess I should have. I just kind of checked the driver's side, looked underneath, didn't see anything. I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe I just have some mud caked up in my caked up in my calipers, or maybe there's sometimes you go off road and you get dirt in places you don't want it. So I just thought maybe it was like mud caked up. Or, maybe even like a stick or something stupid. I mean, maybe I just didn't see it, So I'm driving down the road, and like the brake still feels kind of spongy. I'm like, okay, whatever, just feels a little weird. Maybe it'll clear up in a little bit. But I still had a pedal. It still braked pretty good, considering. Then I get on the Route 70, which is like a major highway. I'm on Route 70. Now I'm all the way in Jackson Township, and I had to drive to Point Pleasant. I had to go pick someone up. So that's probably a 40-minute drive from where I was at in Jackson. Probably about a 40-minute drive to get to Point Pleasant. So I'm driving down Route 70, and I kind of fortuned out. If you live in somewhat in this area, you drive on Route 70. Sometimes Route 70 can be a terrible road to drive on, but in this day, it was actually pretty decent. I made most of the lights. There's maybe only like a couple lights in the beginning that I hit, but once I was like, I don't even know what town I was in at the time, but I was like just coming out of Jackson probably, and then after that, through Tom's River, everything, Lakewood, I made like all the lights. And then I came up to one light that the light was turning red, and this is where it brings you to my story of how having a stick shift, really didn't necessarily prevent, but it really helped me from having a pretty bad accident. I'm coming up to the light, and I go to stop, and my pedal goes all the way to the floor. All the way to the floor. I have nothing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. I hit the brake pedal again. All the way to the floor, nothing. And at this point, I'm starting to panic. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I hit the brake pedal again. Nothing. Like, it literally goes all the way to the floor. I have no brake pedal whatsoever. And I'm looking at cars in front of me, like stopped at a red light, and I can't stop. So, having a stick shift, I was able to downshift. I probably shouldn't put it in third looking back now, but I was in fifth gear. I was all the way in the left lane. I was probably doing about 55 miles an hour. I dropped it down to fourth. I don't put it in the third and like completely rev my Jeep. I don't know. I didn't put it in third for whatever reason. I probably should have. But I ended up putting it in fourth gear. And it did slow me down. It probably got me up to about 35, 40 miles an hour. So, at that point, I had slowed down more than what I was doing, like 55. You know what I mean? And I'm going to show you like a diagram here of kind of what exactly happened. But I'll explain it real quick. So what I had to do is I just looked at my window real quick to see if I can get over any cars. So I just shot all the way over to the right lane. Now it was at a four-way intersection. You have Route 70 West, which was going against me, and Route 70 East, which is the way that I was going. Like I said, towards Point Pleasant. That's 70 East. Then to the left of me is the Garden State Parkway. We got cars going. They come on. You got like cars going onto the parkway, and they're getting off the parkway. And then to my right You know, there's stores, there's a Home Depot, you know, all right in there. Sherrock Street. Well, what I had to do was all the lanes for Route 70 West, the road that I was on, they were all filled. There wasn't a single lane that was open. So it wasn't like I could just blaze through the light, the red light, and if there's a cop, explain to them, hey, listen, dude, like, my brakes just failed on me. So I didn't even have that option. So I was like, okay, let me try to get on the Sherrock Street. Well, when I tried to go on the Sherrock Street, there was 2 cars sitting there waiting because there was cars coming off the parkway to get on the Sherrock. So they were sitting, that spot was taken too by cars. So I had nowhere that I could just keep my momentum going at this point. It was either I crashed to a pole, I crashed into somebody. Now I'll show you, but there's like a little island, like a concrete island, where you know, where the traffic light is. And they keep like signs there, like, you know, like the merge sign or whatever. And I ended up just jumping up on that. I mean, the curb wasn't too bad. The curb's probably like this high, probably like this high off the ground. And I just, I ended up just straight up just going up on top of the island. So I ended up going on top of the island, probably doing like 35, 40 miles an hour. I hopped up on that, and I like literally like was going completely into like a guy's driver door, like hopping up, because where the island is, there's, you know, like, I don't know how am I gonna do it. I'll have to show you on the whiteboard, but there's an island, and then, like, you know, there's cars right in front of the island, but Route 70 was right to the left. So what I did was I literally just I hopped up on the island, and there was a car coming off the parkway that I almost T-boned. I probably missed him by this much, literally from hitting his rear end, because once I hopped on the island, I still had no brakes. I was able to downshift into third at that point once I got onto the island. As soon as I got hopped over it, I put it right in third. You know, I ended up, as soon as I got, because I didn't get airborne, but like, I think I got a little bit off the ground, because when I drove off the island, I heard my tires like, I heard them like screech. So I may have had some type of, you know, wheels off the ground. But I ended up just swerving right back on the Route 70. I was able to downshift again in the second, and eventually I was able to just, you know, get my momentum to nothing, and I pulled over to the side of the road. So I'll show you guys the whiteboard here, and I'll kind of give you a better idea of, you know, what we're looking at. Alright, here we go, guys. Just mind the drawing, it's really sloppy, but you should be able to get a diagram here, okay? As you can see, the circles here are cars. There's cars over here too, I didn't put it, but, you know, the circles here are the cars, and you have stores. Here's Sherrock Street, you know, Route 70 West, and then you have Route 70 East, okay? So, you know, I'm probably back, you know, back around here, right near 70 East. You know, before that I realized I can't stop, but when all the action happens, I'm a little behind 70 East. And as you see, it cuts off here to go on the Sherrock Street. Well, that's where I tried to go to, you know, just turn off on the Sherrock and just drive down that road and downshift. But you have these 2 cars sitting here. So what I ended up doing is this little X here with the square is where the island was. So I literally just avoided all this traffic, went around here, and boom, I hopped up on this island right over here, hopped up on there, and then I cut back onto Route 70. And I just ended up pulling over to the side of the road. And, you know, at that point, I ended up looking at the Jeep still, and for whatever reason, I just didn't check the passenger side. I just kept looking at the brake lines underneath along the frame, thinking that was the problem. I probably should have checked my, you know, done a full vehicle inspection to see exactly what's going on. I checked my reservoir again, and it still had plenty of fluid, so I was so confused on why all of a sudden my brakes were just acting up and failing on me. I ended up making it to my friend's house because I realized if you kept pressing the brake pedal every like minute or so, if you just braked, I guess it kept the fluid flowing through enough through the, you know, my brake line. because it ended up being the brake line on my on the passenger side of my Jeep that was pissing out fluid everywhere. So it ended up being the brake line on the passenger side. We fixed it yesterday. We took care of that. But I just, I made it to my destination. I was able to go pick up my friend. He was a little afraid. He'd be like, oh, I don't want to be in a car where the brakes don't work. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm able to kind of maintain it. And it's a stick shift, so I can downshift. And that kind of brings me to my point that if I had an automatic, I don't know how this would have turned out, if I was driving my Crown Vic, because you can't really downshift. I guess you can if you go on the column, you can downshift, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. So it would have been interesting to kind of know like the outcome of it, and especially having a full-wheel drive. I'll tell you what, it was looking back at it now. I mean, it sucked. It was scary at the time, but I look back at it now, and I have to say that Jeep straight tanked over that island. It just literally drove over like 35, 40 miles an hour. Like I said, the curb was probably like this tall, and I just drove right over like it wasn't even there. I just tanked right over it. So I looked underneath too, see if anything damaged. Everything looked fine. Nothing was bent. I'm like, okay, good to go. I guess I'm just gonna keep driving. But it having a stick shift really made a difference there, because I was able to still get to where I had to go, even though it was sketchy. I was able to drive the Jeep back home, which is sketchy. I didn't have to call for a tow. It was definitely sketchy driving it. It was kind of dangerous, but you got to do what you got to do in certain situations. So I'll try to show you guys on Route 70. Like, I'll try to use my phone and show you guys on Google Maps, but if it films like crap, I'm not going to put it in the video. If it does, I'll put a little clip at the end. You can see exactly what I drove over, what happened. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm in this situation, I'm really glad I had a stick shift. And you can't do that with a dual clutch, and you can't do that with automatic. I mean, I guess you somewhat could with a dual clutch. But I don't know. I don't think it would have been as good a situation. Personally, I think you'd have been better off with the manual there. But that's just my opinion. I thought it was a interesting story. I was pretty scared at the time. I never had to face that before, where I literally have no brakes at all. But that's it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any stories, something similar to that, definitely post it down below, because I'm sure someone's got some crazy stories, or how they nearly avoided an accident and everything else. So that's it. See you guys next video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and take care, guys.